Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world. And welcome to the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. We get together because we really enjoy each other's company and we like experimenting together. And some of us do a little business together. And so you might get a sense that this Being Your Own CEO Success Circle is intended especially for solopreneurs. We all work all by ourselves in front of our computers, and so it's really important to have a connection once a week. So this morning we're going to be talking about Chromebooks versus laptops or desktops. And Vivek has done a bit of a comparison. We're going to see a portion of a presentation that he had done a few weeks ago. And then we'll have a chat about it. So I think perhaps I will go with introducing everyone just to save a little bit of time. I see there's Paul coming on. So let me begin by introducing. I'm just looking to see who else just came in. So the first person in my list is David Flannery. He's in Illinois and he creates affordable websites for small business. Welcome here, David. And then we have Fred Jones, who is in British Columbia, where I am, not too far from downtown where I am. Fred facilitates leadership and community building for youth. And let's see, who else have I got in my list here? Nathan Siegel. He is in Mexico and he works as a copywriter focusing on salesmanship in print. Welcome here, Nathan. And then we have Paul Murray, who is in my neck of the woods. His name is showing up, but his face is not. But just in case he decides to turn his video on, Paul is actually in Victoria in the same neighborhood that I live in. And he helps startups turn ideas into profitable ideas. And I see that Alana has just popped in. She may be not visible just yet, but she will be. And Alana is in Ireland and she supports businesses by creating and maintaining their websites. So I think I've got everybody except myself. I'm Lolan and I like coaching retirees who want to start an online business. And then, yes, David, you're waving.
Yeah, we also have Javita in the chat.
Oh, good morning, Javita. Welcome here. Okay, and Javita is in Mumbai, India. So we know that this is really, really, really early in the morning for her. Is it? Wait now. This is 9, so 9. No, it's evening, late evening for her. I think there's a little bit over 12 hours between where I am and where she is. Right. So I didn't introduce Vivek because his presentation has his intro in the middle of it. So and I know that he's going to do a presentation. Vivek, just give me a minute to make adjustments to my screen here so that everything shows up the way it should. Hang on, I need to, there. So now, Vivek, you have full screen, so go ahead and share yours. You're muted, Vivek.
Hey,
Yeah.
Namaste. My name is Vivekanand. People call me Vivek. I believe in living a simple life. I believe in thinking differently. I am proud to share my belief with the Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said, simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. I aim to bring time tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, amplifying simple technology and tools, by developing software solutions as necessary. With that in mind, today, I bring you a short presentation talking about why, how, what of Chromebooks. As usual, let me start with why. Let us say you have simple tasks such as browsing. Most of your work is based on cloud computing. For example, you work on Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. Then you are likely to find that a Windows computer or a Apple Mac or a Linux computer are often overkill, and they are most annoying when they require updating and you end up waiting for sometimes 15-20 minutes, sometimes hours, and sometimes when you update, things go wrong and break and all kinds of things happen. So in which case maybe you should be thinking of alternatives. Or maybe you take your work with you wherever you go, and you want to make use of every opportunity to get stuff done. Of course, you need to strike the right balance between cost of being productive versus the cost of convenience. Otherwise, you end up going around in circles. Good fun when you are a kid, but my point is, don't be in a rat race. Now let me talk about how. Chromebooks give flexibility. Chromebooks are relatively low cost and easy to maintain. Let me emphasize that the keyword is relatively low cost. But never make that a deciding factor. They offer you open device and start working, and then close device and go wherever you need to go, taking your device with you. Now let me compare two Chromebook devices and show you the pros and cons of each. A Lenovo Chromebook 630, that's the model number, as shown here, versus Google Pixel Book Go. Both are similarly priced, £600. Now, let me talk about Lenovo first. This one has a 15-inch touch screen. If your work requires more screen area, this is a positive. But this also means you have a big screen, and there are times when you feel it is too big. Lenovo uses an old-fashioned battery charger which adds more weight when you want to take it somewhere. Lenovo has a traditional USB port, SDMC card reader. This means you can move files and data in and out of the device easily. But these days, Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, all of these mean that this feature may not be all that useful anymore. Device can be turned into a tablet or put into a tent mode, as it is known, to watch or present videos. This feature is mainly useful when you want to entertain yourself, or occasionally if you make a one-to-one presentation to someone. But most of the time, this feels more like a gimmick, more of a gimmick than a useful thing, because the overall weight and bulk of the device makes these things much less useful in real life. Now, let me talk about Google Pixelbook Go. This has a 13-inch touch screen. It has only two USB-C ports. At first, this may look like a limitation, but in practice, it's not such a limitation at all. The device is well made, feels very solid, very light, ultra portable. There are USB-C hub of various types available. There's one here, I can show you. Which allow you to expand the available two USB-C ports into a full workstation, in fact. So, and this device has really good speakers. In fact, these speakers are as good or even better than what are found on a Apple MacBook Pro, which costs nearly 4 times the value of price of this Google Pixelbook Go. And the webcam on this device is much better than what you find on a MacBook Pro. This Google Pixelbook Go uses a USB-C charger, which is almost like your phone charger, and it will happily get charged using any charger providing USB-C output. And the charger itself is quite small in size. Now, I have put in this picture here, I have put both the devices side by side so you can compare their physical sizes. And in my opinion, the Google Pixelbook Go is a more practical device. So here is a technical comparison. You have Lenovo Yoga C630, which is the 15-inch device. It looks almost like a regular laptop, as heavy as a laptop. It does have a touch screen and all that, but Google Pixelbook Go is a more portable device. So that is the last slide in my presentation here. I did make a YouTube video where I show a demonstration of the two devices, comparing them together, and how you can use them as a desktop replacement. You can connect additional monitor to this device and use it as a regular device. That I showed that in the demo, which is there in the YouTube. So that's my presentation.
Well, thank you, Vivek. And I know. I mean, I've seen the full version. I think you shared that when you did it some weeks ago. You shared that with me, and I remember there were a few questions that I had at the time that for a newbie who doesn't sort of is just kind of knows a few things but needs full understanding. So I'm going to repeat a couple of those questions because I think that they would be important. So one of them is, what is a USB-C? Oh, just a minute. David is waving. You're muted.
Yes, Arthur has joined the group too. Arthur Moorhead.
Oh, greetings, Arthur. Long time no see. Right on. Thank you, David. Yeah.
You're welcome.
USB-C is a port like this.
Yes. Yeah.
You would find this in most modern Android phones. The phone charger, this
Yeah.
charging port is also USB-C.
Yeah. The newer ones. The
Yeah.
older phones have the old kind of a connector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it would be the same size as the connector that goes into the newer phones. Yeah.
Yeah. USB-C is a device which is used for lots of things. It's used for my Apple MacBook Pro has 2 USB-C ports. I use it to connect to my that's my setup here. I can't really show it to you as it is because that's what I'm using now. I have 2 monitors connected and so on and so forth. But the point is, your phone charger also has a same port if you have a more recent phone.
Yeah.
So the advantage is you can use, if you have a Google Pixelbook Go, you can connect your phone charger to this and charge this.
Okay. So the other question I remember having was that port that you just held up. So I guess I mean, we're going to get into some questions because I know you all have some questions, and we will look at you know, under what circumstances would you choose either one, and I think that's, you know, that will be an important discussion. But that gizmo you held up would allow you to be able to plug in an external hard drive or a USB.
Yeah, you can plug in USB, regular USB devices. You can plug in
or a USB stick or whatever. So that
you can connect a TV.
Yeah. So roughly, what I'm guessing that if you have a Pixelbook Go, that gizmo,
this is around 15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah, and I don't know what that translates into dollars, but it's not much.
Not much.
No. But it does mean that, I guess when you start thinking about moving into that new technology, that there will be a few gizmos that you need to let go of from your old system or the old way of doing things, and know that there are a few pieces of equipment that you may need. Okay. So that's I mean, that's that's important to kind of recognize. But and you're saying that the Pixel Book Go was roughly 600 pounds. You said.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if somebody wants to do it. Do a
I think
translation.
it's maybe 1.2 multiplied by 1.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
So
selling on Amazon right now for $649
okay,
US.
okay.
Mm.
I put the link
Thank you.
in the YouTube
Yeah.
chat for
Thank you.
both the Amazon and the
Yeah.
Lavino.
Thank you.
Or
That's
and the other thing, if you could put your video URL in chat,
Hmm.
I'll post it also.
Yeah.
that's a good idea. So I mean, I'm guessing from the practicality perspective. I mean, it was pretty clear which one you favored.
Hmm.
Um, and sort of sounds like you favor it over that the laptop.
Yeah, mainly because the laptop was heavy
Yeah,
and bulky. It's
yeah,
quite big.
yeah.
Um, and not only that, it needs its own charger, which is proprietary charger.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it does use a USB-C port to charge, it still needs its own charger,
Mm-hmm.
which is a bit. I didn't like that. Uh, I connected the phone charger to it, and then it refused to charge.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
whereas this one I can charge with a phone charger,
With
and
whatever you've got. Yeah.
yeah.
So now there's some questions over here. I'm seeing. What is it? Javita says, if I understand correctly, that means Lenovo is not a laptop. There are some Lenovo laptops, are there not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lenovo.
Yeah.
Um, Lenovo is actually former IBM ThinkPad and all that. IBM sold it to Lenovo.
Yeah.
So Lenovo has laptops, desktops, every kind of computers they have.
For
They
what
even
it's worth,
have.
I'm working on a Lenovo laptop that I've had for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's it's just but as we were chatting about this earlier, Vivek, and I feel as though I need to erase some of these little
Hmm.
technical things before we get into when we would choose either one.
Hmm.
But it's when you talk about Len, the Pixel Book,
Chromebook. Yeah.
the Pixel Book Go, etc.
Hmm.
It's working on on um,
Chrome.
on a Chrome operating system.
Yeah. It's not Windows 10. It's not
Right.
Apple.
Okay.
Uh,
But now you said in terms of the Lenovo one, that would allow you to be able to access at whatever programs Ubuntu would allow you to bring in.
yeah. Yeah.
Is that the same? Is that the case with the Pixel Book Go?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we need to expand that a little bit and clarify a little bit so that people sort of understand. Ubuntu is an operating system that works with Lenovo, and it allows you to download certain things and do certain things, which is totally different and totally separate from Microsoft. So another implication of going with a Pixel Book or a Chromebook of some sort is that you might need to gain a bit of understanding of Ubuntu and
Not.
similar kinds of operating systems and so forth. So
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on what you actually want to do.
yes,
If you
yeah,
want to do, let's say you want to use GIMP, for example, you want to edit a picture,
yes,
and you want to use GIMP. To install GIMP on a Chromebook, you need to do a few other things. Install a Linux virtual machine on the Chromebook, which is available from Google.
right,
And then on that you install GIMP, and once you have done that, it's the icon appears on a screen once you have done the initial part.
right.
After that, the icon appears on your screen, and then after that you click on the icon and you use it
Okay, okay.
as if it is a, yeah. So
Okay, that sort of answers because I was saying, well, if you and we're moving over into why would you what would you choose to do whatever. So I'm looking at what I do right now to produce this success circle.
mhm,
I'm using OBS, and
mhm,
OBS is downloaded to my computer.
yeah,
So, in order to be able to use something like OBS or GIMP, excuse me, as you suggest, we would have to do what you just described: download the Lenovo
mhm.
system in some way so that you could access some of these things. So
No,
this is what I'm trying to get at here. I mean, there
not
are a
not
number of things
Lenovo.
that
Yeah.
you've got. There are a number of things that you need to know that when you go away from Microsoft, which is what we all know.
Yes, the
W- w-
known devil.
well, yes, I mean a lot of us know it, but we don't like it very much. But
Yeah,
it means that we have to expand our minds
yeah.
and
The known wisdom is known devil is better than an unknown angel. Yes, but until you explore and do something new,
yeah,
you will be stuck with the devil.
yeah. Okay, so now, so there will be some there. I mean, when you go with a new system, there's always going to be a learning curve. There's no question. So
Yeah.
now that we've got that out of the way, um, so there are reasons why you would want to go with something like a Pixel Book Go.
Hmm.
And you've pointed them out, things like weight and portability and all of that.
Hmm.
Um, but what are some of the reasons you would want that you would not want to choose one? And I see David has his hand up. Oh, thank you for using that little thing. I'm trying to figure out how to. There it is.
Even
No.
Alana had her hand raised, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Um, Arthur is asking what are Chromebooks used for?
Yeah.
So we're getting into that discussion right now, but I wanted to make sure Arthur's
Chromebooks are
question.
used wherever. I mean, if that was one of the points which I mentioned in one of the slides in the very beginning. If most of what you do can be done by using a browser, then you can use a Chromebook for that. For example, as soon as you start your computer, if your major work you do is check your emails, access some documents which are there, which you have stored in Google Drive or Microsoft's what's it called? I don't remember the name. But
OneDrive.
OneDrive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or Dropbox, if you're going to operate on files that are stored in those places, then you don't really need a computer which has a Windows 10 computer, which in those cases Windows 10 computer is an overkill. You don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fred, I think somebody told me Alana had her hand up, so I'll go with Alana
Yeah.
first and then you next. So Alana.
Yeah, Vivek, I just wanted to ask, what does the Pixel book come with? On which software does it come with that's pre-installed?
It has Google Chrome, the OS, the operating system.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. So
So anything you wanted to add to it, you'd have to download yourself.
yeah.
So it doesn't come with like, you know how Windows comes with Notepad and Outlook Mail and all that sort of stuff. It comes preloaded with some of the Microsoft products for productivity. So if this is just browser based, then that means anything you want outside of a browser from an application point of view, you need to download.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that people who are not technically inclined, this might not be a good product for them.
That, what Microsoft used in the early days: fear, uncertainty, doubt. Their marketing is based on FUD: fear, uncertainty, doubt. You saw that in the minds of people, and people will be stuck with Microsoft. So you are seeing the success of Microsoft marketing. People are so fearful. No, if I go away from Windows, what will happen? No.
But Alana, I mean, if you're working from just from a browser, you have access to Google Docs, Google Drive, all of those things. So if I mean, you don't have to download anything, you just access it.
Right. So you're basically swapping Microsoft for Google.
In a way, yes.
I mean, the difference being that Google is browser based and internet based, and Microsoft you have to have the storage for the applications.
Yeah. The other major difference would be, if you look at how does Microsoft make money? Microsoft makes money by selling you licenses for Windows, license for Microsoft Office, and maybe Office 365, which is an equivalent of G Suite.
Yeah.
How does Google make money? Google makes money by advertising.
Selling adverts. Yeah.
So the work that you do is not part of Google's money-making. They're not concerned about whether you are paying them regularly or not. You are using it. They let you use it. It's not part of their business model. So
yeah, right. I mean, all of this requires a kind of a different mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you have to come over that FUD. You have to overcome the FUD.
Okay, Fred, I think you had a question or a comment.
Yeah, I do have a question. In my case, I move around a lot. And there are times I do not have internet access. And I want to, for example, I was on a flight from Australia and I had a particular a book or a manual that I'm working on, and I wanted to edit it. There was no Wi-Fi available for me on the plane from Australia. I had it on my laptop. I was able to edit it. I had some very productive time on the airplane. It seems to me that with the Chromebook, I need internet access, or I am
not always.
okay. So that's my question. If
yeah.
I'm in a situation which I know I'm going to be offline and I have a document, I can download it. But where do I store it? I mean, I don't see. Is there any hard drive? Is there any, not a hard drive, but any type of
Yeah,
place for storage? Or do I plug in a USB thumb drive, put it on there, and then I can edit it? What software am I now using to edit it? Because I'm not available to use, as far as I know, I'm not able to use Google software because I'm not on the internet. But maybe that's my question.
Yeah, Google, many files, almost all files that are available on your Google Drive are accessible offline. You have to mark them as such. If you open a file on Google Drive and you mark this file, make the file available offline, there is an option. If you select that option, that file gets actually downloaded to your device, whatever device you are using.
Okay.
So if you're using
how much storage do I have? Then where is it? It's obviously it's probably solid state drive, or is there a solid state drive, or
there is a solid state drive? Yes.
How many gigabytes are? I mean, obviously on the device you buy that will be different. Yeah.
This device has 64 gigabytes of storage.
That's what I need to know. And then I'm using, what software am I using to edit my document?
If you're using Google Doc, if you're using Google Doc and you mark a file as make it available offline and it's on your
device,
Chromebook, even when the Chromebook is offline, you will be able to use the
because that's my concern. I'm often offline, and sometimes where I am right now, I'm not too sure of the internet access all the time. It can be very dicey where I am in the particular areas, the location.
Chromebook has one advantage. If you have a mobile phone which has data connectivity, not through Wi-Fi, but over the cellular network, if you have that connectivity, you can use the mobile phones. I
don't have that. I'm in Australia. I'm in California. I'm in, not normal. Well, normally, unless COVID-19 stuck me here, but I don't have a data plan. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I need Wi-Fi, and I'll even go to the library and use Wi-Fi. But I can't go to the library now because the libraries are still closed. So there's my challenge. I mean, I love the idea, and Ubuntu is another thing that was mentioned. It's not, Ubuntu is a Linux-based system. It's not Linux-based system. But I don't think most people would ever even dream of using Ubuntu. I mean, it's sort of, unless you're a Linux, it's probably the people who are anti-Microsoft said, I got to get away from it. So they use Linux-based, and Ubuntu is a very good one. However, Google Chrome is coming with probably an easier option than Ubuntu. Ubuntu is more for the technical person. You got to be, my experience anyway with Ubuntu, you got to be much more technical than Microsoft. So that's not a way to go if you don't like Microsoft and you don't love technology. But Google Chrome is easy. It makes it easy for you. So if you're looking for an alternative to Windows, maybe you're an Apple user, so that's a Linux-based operating system anyway. Really, the basis of, no, it's not the original, but it's, if you go down to the roots of it, it came through the Linux world.
BSD. It's based on BSD.
Came through the Linux area. It's not a Linux system as such, but that was its roots. So if you're looking for an alternative to Windows, there's such a thing as Macintosh or Ubuntu, and now Google Chrome. and look at those options. And Google Chrome really is enticing because it's
If you actually look at the schools, what the school kids are using these days,
Google.
Chromebooks.
they use
Chromebooks.
Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's Google.
But this I mean, your question and your situation points up really poignantly how we have to kind of change the way we think about things and change the way we where we decide to put our money in terms of our what we're doing, etc., etc. I can tell you that for the last maybe 5 years, my system has Windows. I never use it. I use everything Google. And even just going in I remember making the transition from Windows Outlook into Google Gmail. It took a different way of thinking, a different way of organizing your work, etc., etc. This is kind of very similar to that. I mean, when you start thinking about all of this, we may need to, I noticed that Arthur Moorhead is saying on there, well, you're only allowed so many gigabytes from Google Drive, and then you got to pay. Well, yeah. If you're going to use a lot of their space, eventually you are going to have to pay for the space. But there it comes into play in terms of where you're going to put your money, what's important and what's so. All right, so that was one question. What about internet connectivity? Are there other reasons why you would not want to use a Chromebook or of some sort over a laptop or a desktop? Any other ideas? I see David is waving.
Yeah. I should have used my hand. Sorry. Old habits are hard to break. The reason I'm not on a Chromebook is because I do video editing. I don't believe it's powerful enough to do video editing. I mean, even my computer is difficult to do computer or video editing, and it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's on everything else it works really well. So Chromebook would knock me out there. And what we are using is, instead of a Chromebook, is we're using a tablet to do the stuff that's away from the house, and that's working out fairly good because it's a tablet that's connected to the phone. So when I don't have the availability of internet, I can use the phone service data plan to be able to get to my files. So that was our solution, but a Chromebook in that case would have worked good, but I don't know if they offer them with the connectivity of a phone.
Yeah, that was what I was mentioning to Fred. For example, my phone, I have a data package, and if I go with my Chromebook somewhere else, my Chromebook can automatically connect to my phone and use the data package that is available with my phone service for using the Chromebook.
But then I need two devices, and with my tablet, I don't need my phone. I can connect. It has its own connection to the phone company.
Yeah,
to the cellular phone.
But you're paying for two services separately.
Right.
Yeah.
You pay for the phone as well as your.
Yeah, but then our hotspots don't allow us to use the phone while we're on the hotspot. So if you're talking to a client, in my real estate, if I'm talking to a client about a house, I can't use the internet if I'm talking to them on my phone. So that's why we went with a tablet that has phone connection, is so that I can talk to them on the phone and be able to, give them their information. So
I mean, making these shifts and making these changes, but it does mean that we need to understand what all these different services will do, so that we can make the right kind of choices. It's really like my tablet, for example, doesn't connect to my phone service at all.
correct.
It's only
Talk off the phone.
it's only yeah, I could do it, so I would be able to do that if I. So I mean, that the whole Bluetooth connectivity is I mean, it's been around for a long time, but now there's a lot of things that are depending or using that. So yeah. Any other questions or observations? What about you, Nathan? I see you sort of concentrating. Is there a question in your mind?
You're muted.
Yeah, I know. Not really a question. I suspected that a Chromebook wouldn't be good for what I'm doing, because I'm like Dave here. I really need my laptop for heavy duty writing and editing and so on. But the other issue that I have, which is very much like Fred, is internet connectivity, which is really important. And so I was pretty sure I was going to be stuck with the solution I've been using for years anyway, but I thought the Chromebook would be kind of nice in some ways, but I know it's not the right solution for me. That's all.
Right on. So here's a question, because David and I and Alana, all three of us, we create websites. I guess maybe Nathan does too. Could you provide a service to clients managing websites, updating websites, creating websites solely with a Chromebook?
I see that you could.
Yeah, you could, because how do you manage the websites? You manage the website using a browser.
Yeah, online. Yeah.
So
I think as long as you have the internet access, you can do that.
yeah.
If you don't have internet access, then you need to have something like XAMPP installed locally and create like a test site there. That's the only way I can think of it if you don't have internet access. But you can't update, you won't be able to update someone's website. I mean, you can create it and you can build it and then, transfer it over when you do have it.
You can demonstrate it.
Yeah.
But not, yeah.
So, I mean, as we think about it, an awful lot of what a lot of us do is web-based to start with.
Yeah.
So if what we're doing is web-based, then a Chromebook is fine.
Yeah.
And to drive that point home, I have Windows Office 2010, and it came with my laptop when I bought it. And I bought kind of a fancy laptop this time around because I needed extra RAM and I needed more power. I've never used, I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've used Microsoft Word. I've never used Excel. I don't use PowerPoint. I don't make databases. I don't really use the Office software at all. I'm, like you were saying, Lowland, I'm probably pretty much a Google girl.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Paul, what about you? Are there any questions that arise in your mind as to, which like if you were planning on buying a new gizmo, which one would it be?
Well, to put it straight in my head, what I think of it is, I think of the as the book as just a giant phone. So I get a bigger screen and a keyboard, and I can do anything I can do on my phone. So that's the way I keep it in my mind, and I find that there is very little that I can't do on my phone. And so for me, it would be absolutely fine. But if I was doing like presentations and things like that, I might want a bigger unit, shall we say, to use rather than the small screen on my phone. And as my eyesight deteriorates, it would probably be about the same price or cheaper than a pair of glasses. So that's my thought on it.
But that's, I mean, that's a good point. I like that's kind of not the way we presented that. We were thinking about it from a computer perspective, and to look at it as, well, it does everything. It's the same as your phone. It's just a bigger phone. I like that. Thank you, Paul. That's really very useful.
And I'm so used to a keyboard and a bigger screen, so it is a really good phone.
And believe it or not, you could probably make phone calls from it if you set it up right.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. You can. So I'm looking, I see Arthur says external hard drive is my choice, pay once for 10 terabytes. Yeah, well, that's, and Javita says, Vivek, a person like me who is not tech savvy, which is better? She kind of boiling it all down. Okay, if I'm not tech savvy, which is better?
It comes back to what you're planning to do. If you, I mean, if the things that you need, let me show this particular slide again. If what you do is simple task, which can be done using a browser. Most of the stuff is on Google Drive and cloud computing. And then you find the software updates a bit annoying.
Yeah.
The last point there is, if you want to be productive wherever you are, using the cloud connectivity, or I mean, I have had people who want to update their documents using a phone. I said, why are you trying to do that? It's such a small screen. It's a painful thing to do, and you would be better off, if that's the situation, you are better off with a Chromebook.
Now the question arises in my mind, if you've got a Chromebook, do you really need a phone?
You do, unless because the Chromebook itself does not have built-in connectivity using the cellular network. Chromebook can connect to your phone, and the phone can use its data package to give the internet connectivity on your Chromebook.
So you're depending on the phone to be connected to the internet.
Yeah. And you would be surprised at the speed at which you can do these things. It will be much better than, because the phone will not be loaded so much, because phone is just acting as a internet device, routing things between your Chromebook and the internet. On its own, not doing much. So phone itself is not going to be loaded, but it'll be very quick. It will be faster than getting things done on your phone. You do the same thing using your Chromebook, but using the phone's network. On the Chromebook, you'll find with the Chromebook, you'll be more productive, more faster.
Uh-huh. Right. So, Fred, I think I saw you wave, and it may be. I'm looking at the time. We always think we're only going to do 30 minutes, and here we are.
Yeah, I had a couple questions. If I want to edit videos, that's the one thing, and I want to give a presentation, and I have it in whatever the equivalent of Power, whatever
Google
it is,
Slides.
Google
Google
Slides.
Slides, which is
But I don't
what
have
use.
internet access. Once again, I don't have internet access,
Mhm.
and I want this. And is there software online, good online software, if you want to edit videos? Because that's something
Ed-
David wants to do.
Editing videos will depend on the power of your device, which means if your Chromebook is powerful enough, there are powerful Chromebooks which are, in terms of price, they are almost as much as a
yeah.
computer.
Well, that's understandable. You need a powerful computer to edit. So you would edit, but what software would you use then? You'd have to download whatever software again and run it on your Chromebook. You could do that. All
Yeah.
right. So it's possible on a
Yeah, so
Chromebook. Okay.
just
If
to-
you have
if-
enough power. Yeah.
Yeah, if
could
you're
do-
just talking about making a presentation, you could use Google Slides and
Yeah.
make that Google slide available offline, which is
Okay.
what I was mentioning earlier,
Yes,
so
that's
that it
good.
gets stored on your Chromebook, and then
Yeah,
you
and the
can present it.
And the last question is, I use Acronis to back up my hard drives, etc. I won't have to do that anymore. I mean, I save that money and pay
Yeah.
Google maybe probably less money than I'm paying for Acronis to
Yeah,
my what's on my.
G Suite gives you a
Yes.
lot of space.
Yeah.
I mean, this also comes back to what I heard a question about Google Drive, Gmail, Google Drive, which comes with the Gmail, is limited, and then you end up paying money for storage. Instead, go for G Suite. G Suite itself gives you not just more disk space; it gives you a lot more other things.
Yeah.
So,
Including security.
yeah,
Many people do not understand that when you just use Gmail, your Google doesn't guarantee any security. But when you go with G Suite, which is only $6 or $7 a month, they guarantee security. That's one of the major differences that a lot of people don't understand. So the one last thing that I wanted to make sure that we understand in the question, like what I'm doing here right now with OBS and with Zoom and streaming over to YouTube, all these things that I'm doing can be done because there are other cloud-based programs that allow you to do. For example, instead of OBS, I could be using a program called StreamYard. And that is a cloud-based program that does the same thing as OBS does. So, again, it depends on what it is that you want to do. And certainly with Zoom, if you want to hold a Zoom meeting and stream it over to YouTube, Zoom allows you to do that. That's all cloud-based. So there are a lot of things that, but it's important. Excuse me, Javita, I mean, I'm getting back to you in a sort of a roundabout way. You have to be clear about what it is that you want to do. And then think through how you would do that. Yeah. So, let's see. I think Oh gosh, we're right up at the hour. So Fred, would you like the last word? Before we
I'd like to thank Vivek for, first of all, the slides that you used were excellent. Well
Thank you.
done. They weren't full of a lot of just words, with pictures and just a few words. Very, very well done. And I appreciated this discussion because I'm in a situation where my computer is getting old and I got to think, what am I going to do next? And this has been very, very helpful. So, and again, I'm not a fan of Microsoft. So, and I could go through the reasons, but we all have our reasons for whatever.
we all know what they are.
So once again, I'd like to say this was an excellent presentation, from the slides to the discussion, so that at least it made it a lot clearer for me when it's time to renew my computer facilities, because they're getting very old. And it sounds like a very good option to research and look at, because thank you very much. I appreciate it. Very helpful to me anyway.
So yes, thank you, Fred, and thank you, Vivek. Your presentation and your knowledge was very useful to all of us. So with that, I'm going to remind everyone that it's important to do what you love with passion. And just to let you know that, speaking of Google, next week we're going to talk about and explore some of the changes that are happening in Google. We're going to talk about Google Meet, Google Hangouts, and Google
Meet, Chat.
That's the other one. So we've been experimenting and playing and have been discovering a few things. So we will share what we have discovered with everybody. So with that having been said, I'm going to hit the Alt 4 for the outro, and thank you all for coming.